Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Michalowski from ForexLive.com. This is a Kickstart video where I take a look at the three major currency pairs, the euro versus US dollar, the dollar versus yen, and sterling versus US dollar. Today's date is April 10th, 2024. It just came after CPI, which is much stronger than expectations, and that's sending the dollar to the upside. Stocks lower, yields higher. So let's take a look. Before we get started into the technicals, we did have the CPI data come out stronger than expected at 0.4% for both the headline and the core measure. The year-on-year measures were also higher than expectation, with the core measure going up by 3.8% versus 3.7%. We are seeing yields move sharply higher, with the 10-year now up 13 basis points. I think the number of Fed cuts going into the end of the year is now down to somewhere around 50 basis points. Two cuts. It was about 69 basis points ahead of the release. So the market has taken out one cut, and the question comes, will there be any? We are seeing U.S. Stock markets sharply lower. The S&P is down 62.66 points, or minus 1.22%. The Dow Industrial Average is down minus 400 points, around minus 400 points, or minus 1.03%. And the NASDAQ futures are implying a decline of minus 230 points, or minus 1.27%. So sharp fall in stocks, a sharp rise in yields or fall in treasury prices. Remember, we have a 10-year note auction at 1 p.m. ET today as well. And we're also seeing the dollar move higher. So let's take a look at the euro versus US dollar from a technical perspective. And the sharp fall to the downside here, gapped below both the 100-hour moving average and 200-hour moving averages in the process to the downside here. This is the hourly chart. We also fell below this swing area here, which goes back in time to, well, all the way back to here. You see the number of different times the price up either bottomed or either had a bottom or a top in that area. This was a key floor through this area right through here, and then we moved up below it through here, and then tried to move below it in trading last week on Friday, but off the employment data, but could not sustain that, started to rotate back to the upside. So getting back below this area right here is now the close risk level for traders. Also, the 200-hour moving average is going to be a close risk level, 1.0795 to 1.0803, so up above and below the 108 level. If you want to be more conservative and want to be short the euro versus US dollar, long the dollar, then the 200-hour moving average is probably going to be a level that traders would not want to see the price move above that. It would indicate that something else is wrong with this scenario. So watch this area right here. Watch the 200-hour moving average from a technical perspective stay below. Each is more bearish, and then we have the low prices that we reached down in April, beginning of April, at 1.0723. 38, and perhaps this low price here at 1.07605 is the next key targets on the downside for the euro versus US dollar. Dollar versus yen, got to go to the daily chart for this. And if we look at the daily chart, we are breaking to above the 2022 high. That came in at 151.94. The 2023 high came in at 151.91. And our high price for 2024 was at 151.967. We are now extending above that level. So staying above the 151.91 level is now a risk for the dollar versus yen. By the way, this is at 30-plus year high. So I can't, I got to go back to the monthly chart and take a look at going all the way back to here, where we are at, and that goes back to 1990. So a long time ago. That the price has been at this level. Taking a look at the, I'm going to take a look at the 5-minute chart actually, if we to figure out where traders might want to see about risk for this move, or a closer risk ahead of the 91 level. Did this go all the way down here? Looks like the price did head all the way back down toward the 96 level, found willing buyers against that level. So I would just use that. Closer risk might now be the 152.14 level, which is the 50% of the last move to the upside. In the dollar versus yen, we're extending to 30-year highs. What you have to just realize is that if we have to just stay, the risk is way down here at the 91 to 96 level, and the upside is really, well, how far do you want to go? Now, the only caveat is the Bank of Japan may not like the dollar versus yen moving too high, too fast, or the yen moving lower too quickly. So there may be a limit as far as how far we can go, but there's really nothing to grab onto from a tactical perspective for traders. So be aware of that, and you're kind of in nowhere's land for this currency pair. What we do know is that we don't want the price to move back below 151.91 to 96 area. That would be something else is going on, like perhaps intervention. Finally, let's take a look at the sterling versus US dollar. I'm going to put my box around, the customary red box around the value area that we've seen, and we've come down to the low of the value area at 125.94, and we're seeing some buyers against that level. Are we surprised? Maybe not. We also have the 200-day moving average in play at 125.865. We're going to need to get below both those levels, the 94 level, the 865 level, and then we'd start to work at things like this low right here and this low right here, which came in near each other, near 125.386, and we get below that level, then we'll look toward the 2024 low price, which came in at 125.17, and then other levels down here, including the December lows, I guess, which were somewhere around this level right here. Here a little bit lower below that level. So, but right now we're staying in the value area here for the sterling versus US dollar. Okay, go figure. We can't on the top side. We can't get back above the 100 bar moving average on the 4-hour chart. Remember, this is the cluster of moving averages that we had outlined as that barometer for more bullish above, more bearish below, and we've since moved fast below those levels after the US CPI data. So that's my technical look at the US dollar for looking at three major currency pairs. Dollar's higher. We'll see if that momentum can continue in trading here today. My name is Greg Mikulowski. Good fortune to trading. Bye-bye now.